Today in 2021, when we talk about chocolates, the first brand which comes to our mind is the Cadbury, or more precisely the dairy milk. And why shouldn't that be? After all, through its brilliant marketing strategies and campaigns, Cadbury was able to achieve something which was considered to be almost impossible at one point in time. And that was integrating itself into the food habits of India, a nation which was for centuries habituated to eating its indigenous sweets or the mithai. So grab a pen and paper as we take a deep dive into the 6-decade-long legendary marketing strategies and campaigns of Cadbury, which helped this foreign brand transform itself into the meetha, as we like to call it today. Now guys, it was in 1948 when Cadbury milk chocolate arrived at the doorsteps of a newly independent India. During the early decades, the company was only able to cater to the needs of the exclusively westernized Indian. Even though the brand knew that if it were to be successful in this big Indian market, it had to break its shackles and it had to spread into the various sections of the big Indian society. Now the efforts continued steadily, but the first major breakthrough came across only in 1984 when the government of India decided to boost milk production and consumption at a very fast pace. And this easy availability of milk was made use of very well by Cadbury, and it replaced its powder-based milk with that of actual milk in the chocolates, and thus was born the legendary dairy milk chocolate, which we all love and enjoy even till this day. Now after doing all this, there was no doubt that Cadbury had managed to improve its product, but in order to attract more customers, it had to improve on its packaging and stuff. In order to boost visibility, Cadbury also for the first time launched its sheet metal dispenser, which we see all across the shops even today. Cadbury also took the opportunity to advertise on the newly arrived color television in India in those days. And honestly guys, all these efforts paid well, and Cadbury was able to boost up its sales for the next 6 years very well. But there was a problem. And the problem was Cadbury had only been focusing its advertising on the kids in India till date. And it thought that luring the kids into the chocolate game would solve all their problems. But Cadbury forgot one thing, and that thing was that kids grow up and they become adults too. During the late 80s and the early 90s, the average age of India had increased, and Cadbury was now left with no option but to up-age its marketing strategies, up-age its target consumer, and up-age its advertising game. These up-aging efforts of the company continued with very little results for the next few years. But the next major breakthrough came across in the mid-90s when the focus shifted from just kids to the kid in all of us. Now it's very important to understand that during the early and the mid-90s, India had embraced liberalization of its economy. During these times now, the English hangover was over. Cadbury took a brilliant advantage of this situation and launched the Asli Swad Zindagi Ka campaign, in which it captured moments from people's lives when they would break free from the responsibilities of their daily lives and live their lives with spontaneity and happiness, doing whatever they wanted to do. It spread across a message that Cadbury Dairy Milk was not only associated with kids, but it was also associated with the kid which is present in all of us. And thus, this brilliant message of happiness and spontaneity was spread across through these advertisements. Now, when a company associates itself with the emotions of people, magic starts to happen, people. And in my later videos, you will understand how all the different brands of the society have been able to achieve brilliant results by associating themselves with the emotions of people. Do you guys remember that brilliant advertisement wherein a girl jumps onto the cricket field and starts to dance without any worries when her boyfriend hits a six? That advertisement of Cadbury won the Advertisement of the Century Award from the Ad Club of India. But as they say, all good things come to an end, and the same thing happened with Cadbury. After a few years, the sales dropped. The growth rate of the company in the period of 1996 to 2000 dropped by a significant 78%. People were trying to find out what the reason was for this major drop and what could be the solutions to it. Currently, Cadbury had a 65% market share, and playing the market share game would mean fighting itself in the market. Now, inflation was up, so the prices of commodities were also increasing. Playing a market share game through promotion would also turn out to be expensive at this point in time. Pressure was building up too much, and no doubt there was a genius required in order to fuel the growth of the company once again and find the answers to all these questions. The question was, why was the consumption of Cadbury still low among the kids and teens of India? Now look, my friends, India is two countries in one. Now what that means is two types of people still live in India. Number one is the modernist. This kind of person looks completely Indian but is heavily influenced by the Western lifestyle and Western thought process. He has good exposure, good income, and therefore is very open to experimenting and taking up new things in his life. The second group of people were those who were conservative in nature. Now these kind of people were very much bound to their cultural and traditional values, and this type of personality consisted of a large chunk of the Indian population. Their income wasn't very high and they thought twice before buying anything for themselves. And chocolate for them was a foreign indulgence जो कभी-कभी बच्चे खा लेते हैं. But even this strata of the society had its own indulgences. The meetha or the mithai, the indigenous sweet as we know of it, was a far bigger market than the chocolate market in those days. Cadbury also discovered another remarkable point. While the chocolate used to be a symbol of happiness only for the individual in the West, and it used to be only an individual indulgence, the meetha or the mithai of India used to be a symbol of the entire community's happiness. On occasions of Holi, Diwali, Rakhi and other kinds of festivals, or on other happy occasions like getting a job, starting a new business, marriage, etc., the mithai was considered to be a symbol of happiness and it was distributed among all the members of the society. And this analysis gave birth to the legendary marketing campaign Kuch Meetha Ho Jaye of Cadbury, which turned around the entire game for Cadbury. If Cadbury had to become successful in India, it had to become the meetha of the Indian society. And thus, this realization led to all the success that we see of Cadbury as of today. You might have seen all those brilliant advertisements wherein the brothers and the sisters are sharing those Cadbury celebration chocolates during Raksha Bandhans, and all those advertisements like Pappu Paas Ho Gaya and all. And all these things led to growing the brand as the meetha of the Indian society. This Kuch Meetha Ho Jaye campaign finally managed to create a name for its brand in the Indian society. And even till this day, we enjoy our dairy milk chocolates the same as much as we enjoy our gulab jamuns and our jalebis. Later on, the brand went on to introduce a lot of other products in the Indian market like the silk, the shorts, etc. And all of them were equally welcomed by us. Decades of struggle was finally showing results. And there's a lot to learn from this company's advertising and its culture. So let's take a look at all the important learnings which we can take from Cadbury. The first lesson, try to target both the habitual as well as the impulse consumers of all ages, as Cadbury did by thinking beyond its niche and trying to sell chocolates to beyond kids and beyond those westernized Indians. The second big lesson which we can learn from Cadbury is that Cadbury today is available in all price ranges starting from rupees 5 all the way up to 150 or 200 a piece. So if it applies to your business, try to give it a thought and try to increase the range of your products so that it can be made available to all kinds of people in the market, and thereby it will boost up your sales. The third, the final and the most important thing which we can learn from Cadbury is that do not try to re-engineer your product as soon as things start to look difficult, and do not try to impose your product on the customer the way that it is. try to change the company's and the product's message, try to change its essence, and try to present it to the consumer in a way that he or she wants it to. The Cadbury Dairy Milk was still the same Cadbury Dairy Milk. The traditional Indian was still the same traditional Indian. The only difference in the Meetha campaign was the message that the Cadbury Dairy Milk as a company and as a product was now conveying to its consumers, and that changed the game completely for the company and made it a success. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more such content. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, peace, Jai Hind.